Why is Red Bull not porpoising? Isn't it surprising to see Mercedes not in the top 3 contenders for the 2022 season? Is Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes not leading? Then who is? It's Red Bull this time. The issue of porpoising does not affect them, unlike the other teams. How is that possible? Stay tuned till the end of the video to know everything about this. In today's video, we'll talk about everything about porpoising, a concept that has come down heavily on other teams, especially Mercedes, for this season, but Red Bull seems to have completely eradicated the problem. How's that possible? Recently, the FIA amended certain regulations with regard to technical details of the F1 cars, due to which, unlike the 2021 F1 car, the underbody or the floor design of the 2022 F2 car is not smooth. Even the F1 car design is also something that the teams have been facing issue mending with. The regulations have changed the government aerodynamics of the Formula 1 car. What's interesting is that these changes were to be made effective from 2021. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the enforcement of these regulations shifted for the 2022 season. To understand how Red Bull tackled the issue of porpoising, let's understand what the concern is. The entire objective of these regulations is to put certain restrictions on aerodynamics in order to reduce drag on cars, thereby increasing their speed. So, how are these regulations affecting the teams negatively? The FIA has introduced 2 large venturi ducts on the underbody or the floor of the car to reduce the loss of downforce. Such downforce is usually generated by the depression formed by the air accelerating through these ducts. As the car gains speed cutting the air pressure forms a negative pressure, sucking the car towards the ground, creating downforce. The reason F1 cars need more downforce is that downforce keeps the car firmly in contact with the track, providing more grip and traction. To avoid forming vortices, diffusers are deployed to accelerate airflow under the car, creating a low pressure area and increasing downforce. But what the FIA did not understand, the diffusers in 2022 F1 cars are much wider than in 2021. After a certain speed, which is over 250 km per hour, the airflow detaches itself from the upper edge of the diffuser, thus reducing the suction effect. With this, the downforce of the car reduces and the car is pushed upwards. In simple words, at a super high speed, a speed usual for F1 cars, the airflow underneath the car stalls, leaving only a little space for air to flow without any disturbances through the space between the ground and the floor of the car. With the air still stuck in that tiny space, the downforce of the car practically is negligible, and the car springs back up to its normal height. The actual problem starts when the air pressure starts building up above the car, which pushes the car back down, repeating the cycle over and over again. This is porpoising. From a spectator's view, the car appears to be bouncing. Remember that it's not a joyride. Instead, it's a huge problem for the driver, and it largely affects the race scores. Porpoising delivers a highly uncomfortable ride for the drivers, as if they're traveling across a series of bumps on the track. Furthermore, it's risky. It can be dangerous, particularly on fast corners. To stop porpoising, the drivers are bound to hit the brakes, but that gets them ranked lower on the scoreboard. That's something that simply cannot be compromised. With so much on the plate, how are the Red Bull guys handling the issue? Because Mercedes has completely given up hope of leading the Constructors' Championship for 2022. You won't believe it, but Red Bull's apparently counteracted the porpoising issue accidentally. According to Dimitri Bizos, the Greek motorsport journalist, the Milton Keynes-based team had engineered a new rear suspension that could adapt to the conditions after hitting 250 km per hour and cutting out the bouncing caused by porpoising. The changes and the upgrades they're working on accidentally solved the issue of porpoising for them. So, specifically, didn't have to bang their heads to solve the issue that other teams are facing right now as we speak. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, the duo for Red Bulls, have fewer headaches. Rather, they've been the leaders for the previous races for the Imola and Miami Grand Prix, beating Ferrari. Speaking of which, Ferrari's also suffering from the problem of porpoising, but their effect reduces on the application of brakes, so that's under control for them, unlike Mercedes. Red Bull have claimed to have solved the problem after their upgrade at the second preseason test in Bahrain this season. The reigning world champion, Max Verstappen of Red Bull, was the first to debut the new technology at the 2022 F1 Bahrain GP. Later, his teammate Sergio Perez had raced the new technology for the subsequent race in Saudi Arabia. The upgrade on the side pods and the underbody saved their day as they found a metric 0.7 of a second as a result. Not targeting the porpoising issue as such, the new floor design helped the team to eradicate the issue whatsoever. Unlike the previous design, the underbody or the floor has now 2 notches which are placed perpendicular to the side edge of the floor. The team has introduced an S-shaped part into the floor that will work towards making the side skirts of the car more effective. Now this part is important. The side skirts of the car are created by a vortex of air close off the floor to the rear, something that we do not want below our cars, or else it'll likely take off like an airplane. Not kidding, but F1 cars run at a much faster speed than an airplane. Shocking, right? Now, the vertex of the car, as explained earlier, reduce the pressure below the car, which is normally the reason playing into the hands of porpoising. With making the significant space and structure for the side skirts to play, there's absolutely no way for an air vortex to appear. Thereby, the problem of porpoising for Red Bull is solved. While this is one way of looking at it, another war has been described by journalist Matt Summerfield, who says Red Bull uses the technique of ice skate that not only reduces the effect of porpoising, but also adds numerous performance advantages to the car. As we all understand that even a small, half-an-inch design can affect the entire car, the speed and overall performance and the aerodynamics of the floor is highly critical. According to the journalist, the team uses an ice skate strake, which is a metal strip with holes in it. The metal strip is attached to the rear outer corner of the floor and appears to offer numerous performance advantages. The metal strip retrains the floor flexation under the load, which stops the early trigger of porpoising with the increasing speed. The metal strip stops the floor from flexing anymore once it's touched the track. That's why it's metal and not carbon. The surface is aligned with the floor edge drop-off, and it also takes a turn towards the rear edge, thereby allowing the propagation of the vortices and increasing the speed of the car. The strake placed along its length also has significant importance from an aerodynamic point of view. What's particular, Red Bull was able to build up the design without having to spend much from their budget. That additionally worked for the porpoising issue. Having opted for this design feature, the team is yet to express an interest in pushing the diffuser kickline forward as per regulation. Red Bull dealt with the issue of porpoising during the first days of testing in Barcelona. However, they had to do whatever they could to keep the trophy and the prize money all by themselves. The Austrian team was by no means the only team to have bounced across the tracks, but the team of Verstappen and Perez managed to find a solution very quickly. All other teams are struggling to avoid the issue, especially with a budget of $140 million on their head for this season, which is down by $5 million from last. It's true that trial and error are hard with such heavy budget restrictions, but there's only that an engineer can do. Furthermore, Red Bull has to own up to Adrian Newey, the man with the genius hat who stole the show. He was the one to have to inspire the 9 Constructors' Championships with the combination of Williams, McLaren, and Red Bull. Max Verstappen owes a large part of his title success from last year to the incredible mind of the Briton. Red Bull, with the update for their floor design, has the upper hand in the upcoming races. The reigning champions have exhibited good points already in the last 5 races. However, it might be a little too soon to jump to conclusions. We have 17 more races to analyze the statistics. By then, there's a possibility that Mercedes might fit their solution into the budget. Before that, Ferrari has been a tough competitor for Red Bull. Though the team has already displayed significant Cold War during the race, there's no denying the fun factor of the quarrel for the title as a spectator. The match is now who can develop more upgrades in lesser time with less money. What's your take on Red Bull for the rest of the season? Leave a comment below. Take care.